In this next episode of How I Do What I Do, I am going to show you how to wire a hot tub from the main panel to the sub panel, and then from the sub panel to the hot tub. This is going to be a 4-wire installation with a 50 amp breaker in the main panel, a 50 amp GFCI in the sub panel, and then we're going to wire it through seal tight to the hot tub. This will be ran with number 6 wire THHN. And the homeowner has done all the trenching underground, so we'll also be running the wire with a fish tape underground to get this installation. I hope you enjoy these videos, and let's get on with the video. Well, this is the hot tub we're going to be hooking up today. Hey, this is what they call a square D box. This is the main panel. So we got a 50 amp square D breaker. 50 amps going to go right here in this spot. And we're going to come down the wall right here and go right here with EMT. EMT is hard, rigid line, and then it's going to make a corner. It's going to go all the way back there, which is about 10 feet. Now, some of the connections I'm going to use at the main box, like I said, this is the main, and I'll be using a reduction ring just to hold this in place. This is what they call rain tight. This is what you use for outdoor EMT connections. This stuff seems to work the best. I've had no leaks. I've had no problems using it. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll make a bend right here and maybe kick it out a little bit and then have it come right up to that hole right there. So it'll be pretty simple. I think at one time before there was a hot tub in this backyard. Now over here at this connection, because the main's right there, we're going to come this way. It'll come into another rain tight connection, and then it'll go into an L box. Now these L boxes can be one of several different configurations. You can have an opening down here and an opening at the other end. You can have one here. You can have it come this way. You can have it on the box. So these are really cool. So this will be sitting right here approximately. I normally do not like to use this box like this. This is all we can get. So when we seal it, we will be sealing with silicone just to make sure no water gets in there. But normally I like to have it like this, just so that no water gets inside. But like I said, there's just nothing available right now for a lot of the installs we're doing. So at the other end down there, where you can see the light down there, that's where the L box is going to make its 90-degree turn. From here it comes to, this is gray PVC. Now there's 3 different types of PVC or ABS that I see. You see white, you see gray, you see black for underground. And it kind of tells you what's going on. White will tell you it's water. Gray will tell you it's electric. The black will tell you that that's a sewer. Now it's really simple. Black gets you dirty because that's full of crap. The white carries water, that'll wash off all the crap. The gray will bite you if you dig through it. So basically what I'm telling you is when you see lines underground, they're telling you something. You know, black is crap. White will clean you all up, wash you off. But the gray, you break through this with a shovel, and let me tell you, it'll bite you really good. So anyways, we already got our fish tape fed through here. You can see it right here, which will connect our wires to go through. Now, when you're running wires through fish tape, you can only go 365 degrees. If you go any further than that, it's going to be almost impossible to pull. So what I'm getting at is when I go underground, I'm making a 90 to go underground. So I go underground, I make a 90. And then when I'm underground, I make another 90. When I come all the way through and I want to come up by where my sub panel is going to do, I can make another 90. So you got 192. You're already 3/4 of the way through it. So how you can get by with that is right here we use a 45. So what you're doing is you're using a 45 that brings it down. You get it down to your depth, and then you run the next 45. That way you don't have such an abrupt curve. Kind of follow me? So pretty simple from here. So you're going to hook up a line right there. We're going to come through, and then the homeowner, they did all the trenching. They trenched all the way underneath before they put in their nice pavers, and they come this way. Here they didn't. That's all they did was they just bent the tubing a little bit, and then they ran right along their concrete. As they ran along the concrete, they come up out of the ground with a 90-degree, and then we'll come up the wall, and we're going to put our box right here. So from the ground to the center of the box is approximately 36 inches. Now the wire that I'm using is number 6 THHN wire. I found that using this particular wire and type. I just don't have any problems when I do wiring jobs or when I do repairs. Now, when I'm pulling wire, the only thing I'm using is my tube bender. It's just an orange tube bender. You can see you can get it at any Home Depot. So it's not too hard to do this. As you see, I'm just holding on to it. After you've cut all the wire, you want to start preparing to put your wires in the ground. So what I always do, because I don't want any dirt, you want to get all the dirt and crap away from the opening, because as the wire is going this way, if it grabs onto a rock like this and wedges it in there, you're going to have a son of a gun getting the wire to go through there. So that's a huge pro tip right there, guys. Everybody's got their own way of doing this. I've done it several ways, several different ways. I always use the green wire, and I will put the next wire next to it, and I start taping them. And I kind of stagger them to where what I'm getting at is, gotta move that down a little bit. I try to make it to where what I'm doing, I'm actually bending the wire as I add more wire. That way it goes through all that, and then I make it tight and I make it go down a little bit. And I apologize for moving the camera so much, but anyways, this is just how I've always done it. It seems to work for me. There's a lot of other people that tell me you don't need to do it that way, and that's fine. They can do it their way. So anyways, this is kind of what I'm doing, is I'm just wrapping it, and I make something for it to catch on, and I don't want it to be really, really big. So when I do it, you see I keep adding to it, okay? And then I put the last one on, and so on. And then I can tape it all together, and it seems to work better that way. And then what I'll do is I'll bend these down, like so. Now this is just the way I do it. Everybody will do it differently. That's just something the way I'm doing it, and I've been doing it this way for years. And it just makes it so that I don't lose my wires on some of these long runs. And then I wrap this around the end of the fish tape. So once I got it all done, then I just tape from one end to the other. And that just kind of makes it to where it will go through the, what do you call it, the seal tight PVC underground. So now you're going to go to your fish tape. You're going to take the end that comes out, put it through the hole. You're going to bend it around, and then you just take there again. You just take some electrical tape, just wrap it around so that this will go through the line real easy. That's all you're trying to do, is just make it so it holds on, just like that. When you're going to pull, make sure you put your foot over the PVC. We don't want to pull it up out of the ground. Okay, now when you do this, you're going to wind this, and what this is doing, as it winds it, you're going to pull like this. You're going to hold on right here. You're going to hold on right here. It's got these different handholds right here, and you're going to pull up, and then you're going to wind it, and you're going to pull up again, and you're just going to do it real smooth. Now it takes two people, one feeding at the other end and one pulling. Okay, so we're going to feed and pull all at the same time. This is where it kind of takes a little bit of time. So what you're going to do is go ahead and pull. Just kind of ease it right in there. Go ahead. And they're going to pull, and then as they pull, you just kind of feed it in there. And it's not too hard. I mean, this shouldn't take that long. Go ahead. Keep going. And by keeping my hand down here at the bottom, I'm keeping any kind of rocks from getting in there. And then they just keep feeding at the other end. But that's all you got to do, is just keep your pinky finger so that no rocks. My pinky finger is sitting, my hand is sitting right on the ground. And this is nothing fast. This takes time. Nobody does it any faster than the next guy. Some guys will lay it out and they'll do it all by themselves. Hey, that's fine. I'm here to show you guys and hold your hand and show you exactly how I do what I do. Now I'm going to show you how you're doing it at the other end. My son Parker's doing it, and that's all he's doing is just winding it up. Then he pulls. That's all he's doing. And as you can see, we're not even halfway there. We're all the way over here yet. So we've probably only pulled it a little way through there, but it just takes time. And that's all it takes. We got the wire up out of the ground, so we'll pull it up to probably all the way up here just so we got enough. Now when I do this particular part of it, I pull the wire almost up as high as my shoulder. That way I've got more than enough wire to work with inside the box. And the box is going to be below this right here, so you can kind of see where there's a little indent. So that's where the box is going to be. What I'm going to do is I'm going to install the box. This is the box that I'll be using. And you got a GFCI 50 amp breaker, got a couple of reduction rings because this will go in the bottom of the box. I always put reduction rings on these. It's 3/4 to 1 inch, which you can kind of see what they look like. It just keeps them from pulling out of the box. I've got a couple more. Now these are rain tight fittings. You got two. You got one as it comes up out of here, it'll go to this. So let me show you how this is going to work. Okay, it's going to come up out of here. This is going to slide on there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw this into there like so. Okay, I'm going to use a piece of EMT up to here. It's going to go into this, and then this will go into the bottom of the box. Pretty simple, really clean, easy to do. Now, when the stuff that I've started to use lately, because I received a case of it from Christie's, so it's red hot blue glue, PVC cement. But this is the cool part. I used to always use channel locks on this part, and it always boogered them up and stuff. They make this cool tool. You can get these at Home Depot. They're not bad. And it's actually got, if you look inside, it's got little ridges on the inside. Well, the ridges match with the ridges on the top. So when you put it on there and you squeeze, look how easy it opens it. So no more using a pair of channel locks for me. So just like so. And this stuff I've really gotten to like because it heats up fast. Now, this glue compared to the other glue, you better have it right the first time, and you've got like 10 seconds to get it right. And it's hot and it's done. That's Christie's red hot blue glue. Try it, guys. You'll like it. Now, the only other tool you're going to need for this job is a couple of red heads. You're going to need a drill bit, which will drill into masonry. So you're going to need this size drill bit. And this is a 1/4 inch bit. And then I'm using a Milwaukee hammer drill. I found that this one, I don't know if it's the best for the price, but for how long I've had it and the job it's done, if you keep it in the case and don't let your friends use it, it'll last forever. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do the next step. We're going to start with wiring our sub panel. So you're going to need a PVC fitting that'll go down here. It's got threads on one side, it's got slip on the other side. You'll need your rain tight. You take the nut off because you don't need that. You'll use some, what do you call it, best sealing tape from Odie's. This is the black stuff. You'll put some on this thread, and then you'll screw it into here like so, just like so. And I use a pair of channel locks here and here, and then I'll wrench it down just a little bit. And I do this before I glue it in. It just makes it easier. Okay, next you're going to take the Teflon tape and put it on. I hold the fitting in my right hand. The reason why I do that is because I'm spinning the fitting clockwise so that when I pull it, it stays on. So in other words, it goes like this, and I was putting it on that way. Then I'll go ahead and put this in place, and then I'll use a pair of channel locks, and I'll tighten that down. That's how I do it. Once you got it all screwed in there, that's what it should look like. Pretty simple. Now we're going to go ahead and slide it on here, and I'll glue it in place. We're going to take our new handy dandy. Look at that. That is just awesome. Everybody should have one. Heck, get two. Okay, take the piece. Put pieces in there just like so. Sometimes this can be a pain. Okay, pull your wires up, slide them down. So there's nothing fancy about how I'm going to do this. I'm going to put glue around it and just try to seal it. Nothing. Just like so. So that's all we're going to do. Doesn't have to be anything great. We're just trying to hold it in place. Now that we've got that glued in place, let's start working on our sub panel. So you got a bunch of knockouts. You got a bunch of different sizes on the left. You only have two on the right. Well, I'm going to use this smallest one here to knock that out. And there's many different ways to do it. I usually use a screwdriver. And then I just kind of bend it with a pair of pliers. Next thing we're going to do is take our 1" 3/4 reduction ring, pull that out of the package. Okay, got that out. You're going to put one on top, one on the bottom. What I do is I take this, stick one like that, stick it in there, stick the other ring on the inside, and then I put my nut on the inside. Now, once you've got this all done, they make this yellow piece, which sometimes these will have sharp edges on them. Make sure you drop the yellow piece in there, and that'll make sure that you don't have any sharp edges when you're pulling your wires through it. Now, this is kind of a tough one. You got to make sure you know, get it straight up and down. So you want to mark it with something, you know. So I will sometimes make a mark so that I know approximately where the center is, so that when I go to put the box up here, I know that I've got everything in the center from where this line, from where this EMT line is going to come from. Now that we've marked it right here, so we know approximately where the center is when this is in place, what you're going to do is you can grab a tape measure. You're going to measure from the edge of the wall to it, and we're about 14 1/4, 14 1/2. So that means when we come up here, we'll mark 14 1/4, 14 1/2 up here. So the reason why we're doing that is because we want the center of that hole to line up with that tube all the way up. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this box in place next. Pretty simple. What you're going to do is you're going to slide the EMT down. You're going to slide it into place, and it'll bottom out. Okay, just like you heard it. Now, you got this green O-ring. The green O-ring needs to go down in between the EMT and the connector. And then this is the compression fitting. The compression fitting sits like that, and then that goes down like that. Then you screw all those together, just like that. And you tighten those down with your channel box. Okay, pretty simple. You can put your compression fitting inside. Come up, go around. Make sure you put it in the right way. Goes all the way down. Sits on the piece of tubing. Goes all the way down to the EMT. You take your rubber washer. Now this is beveled at one end, so it's got to go up this way. So make sure you put it in the right way there again. Nothing hard. If you put it in wrong, you take it apart and start over. Push that up. The compression came out. That one goes down there. And then that goes just like that. Now what you're going to do is fish these wires into the hole so that it comes up right here. Pretty simple. So this is going to go down. You're going to pull that down, and you're going to have to wiggle it. I might have to dig out a little bit of dirt down here to get it to set, and then I can push it into place. But you'll figure out what I'm doing. Okay, now I've already got the wires in. Sometimes you got to go all the way down, and you've got to dig down to get it to go down. Then you can come back up. As you come up, then you can get your wires in place, and then just kind of like that. That's pretty much all there is to doing this. And make sure you get all your washers in place and all your compression in place. Now, the biggest thing is you want that straight up and down. It's the biggest thing. Once I get it where I want, then I'll put in my other two anchors, which I can put one right there and I can put one over there, and that'll be done. Okay, so you guys kind of understand what I'm trying to do. But yeah, sometimes you got to dig down to the dirt underneath to get it to pull down. There's all different kinds of ways of doing it. I'm just showing you how I'm doing it today. Now, sometimes when you buy a box like this, it'll come with the common wire lug, which is isolated. It's in a plastic piece, and it's got the bar up on top, and then it's got a deflector up here, like an insulator, that keeps it away from touching the box. Okay, this particular one did not come with a ground, but it does have the hole for the grounding bar over here or here, and we did buy that separately, and they're a couple bucks. They're about $4 or $5. This is kind of what they look like. They just got a screw in the center, and then you just screw it in there. You can screw it on either side. I put my bit in, which is pretty simple. Now this particular Milwaukee hammer drill, you can go just drill, you can hammer drill, or you can chisel. So it's kind of cool. You can use something like this for knocking up tile, or you can actually use a normal drill bit, or you can use a concrete hammer bit that'll just blow right through a concrete wall. So it's kind of cool. That's all there is to it. So what you're going to do is you take the red head, pull the nail out, put the red head into place, and either tap it or push it or pull it. Sometimes you got to pull it into place because they're a pain in the butt. Once you got that into place, take and push the nail into place, put it in the hole. Once you got it where you want it, take it and just done. It's that simple. I've now installed the two red heads, one right here, and I installed the other one right there, and I'm going to go ahead and put in the grounding bar now. I put the grounding bar over on this side, and sometimes I'll put it on the, it just depends, it doesn't matter. You can put it on the right side, you can put it on the left side. Anyways, I always hook up the ground first. I hooked up one hot lead here and the other hot lead here. Today I had black wire, so that's all I used. Just make sure it stays out of the way so that I can get the breaker in place. That's all. That's my only main objective. And then the common wire goes up here to the common barb. You have to wire it this way. This is how you wire a sub panel for a hot tub. Now, I've taken the common wire, it runs right here, runs all the way right here, and I've got it completely out of the way, and it's right here. And I made sure that that lug right there is nice and tight. Very important, make sure everything's tight. Now, before I'm done, I'll go back through and make sure everything's tight again, just to make sure. So I'll stick my screwdriver up there, nice and tight. Tight, tight, tight. So everything's tight. So now we can go ahead and we can bury this because we're done here. We'll still leave this open because I have to run that seal tight into this right here and then wire it up to the breaker itself. And I'll show you how to do that after we do the main panel. So now I need to connect the gray seal tight PVC to this connection and then start working down there. So I'll show you how I go about this particular part of the install. What I'm going to do is I'm just sliding it in there, and it's only about a 7 or 8 foot piece, and then I can just start sliding it in there. Crack, pull the wire from the other end. Make sure you got all the wires pulled in there evenly. You know, slide it into place. That's it. Just like on the other side, get your glue on there. Put a good amount of glue all the way around it because it's going to slide in a little bit easier if you do that. Get your glue out of the way so you don't knock it over, and then just come on, baby. There we go. Just like there we go. Well, I didn't want it on my hands. It's on my hands. So that's pretty much it. That's how you do it. And then we'll go ahead and connect the rest. This is the piece of rigid, and it's going to go from right there, come up. It's got to make a couple turns. It's got to go around the Southwest gas, and it's got to go up to that hole right there. So I pretty much, this is a pre-bent piece that I had done from another job, so it's not that big of a deal. Just going to use what I had. Now, before you're going to slide it through the tubing, through the EMT, make sure you put it through here first. I kind of made a mistake and got premature and had half this done and realized I hadn't even gone through this, and I do this all the time. So it usually happens when I'm filming. I forget things. So anyways, you go through here first, and then we'll hook this up to it. You just feed it right through the hole. Nothing hard. There's 2 whites. There's a white. There's 2 blacks. And I'll hand this to my helper. And he'll pull that through. Just keep it against the wall as you're pulling. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Give a little pull on the blacks. Sometimes when you do this, you do have to pull them through individually. If you don't keep them even, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. All right, pull one of the blacks in first. Pull it through. Keep going. Good. Okay, pull the green in. Okay, pull the white in. Keep pulling. There you go. Pull the other black in. The last one. Nope, the other one. Keep going. There you go. All right. That's pretty much all. Now, when you're doing these, underneath this lid right here is a rubber O-ring. Make sure you get that rubber O-ring in there straight. If you don't get the rubber O-ring in straight, water will get down inside of here, and then it'll get down in here, it'll get down, it'll just cause electrolysis, and it won't happen right away, but all of a sudden your breaker will start tripping. Pretty much all there is to that. So let's go ahead and fish this wire through the EMT now. Now with this, since it's such a short run, you do not need a fish tape. In fact, you don't even need to tape it together. That's all you're going to do. You're only pushing it about 7 or 8 feet. Just make sure it's straight as you're pushing it in there. And it'll go in there really nice and easy. And just take your time. Make sure that when you, before you do that, you've put your nut on, your compression, and your washer so that everything gets sealed. So just make sure you don't forget those. Very important. Once the wires start coming out the other end, my helper will pull them through. And should be just about there. And I did pretty good with my measuring of wire. I'm not going to have very much left over. So anyways, that's all you do. And he should have it by now. So keep pulling. Keep pulling. We now have the cover on this. We got both the Allen heads tightened down. We got the rubber gasket in place. We've tightened our compression fitting. Now we're going to go ahead and run it into the main panel itself. You got your compression fitting on the inside of the nut. Make sure that goes in there first. Hold that. Like I said, there's a little flange, the skinnier end. This is, whoop, hold on. It's got a lip right there. Make sure that the lip goes toward the nut. That way it seals when you put it all together. So, and that you can just drop down there any way you can get it in there. It doesn't matter. So go ahead and drop that down inside of there, because we'll screw all that together after we get it in place. So just make sure you got everything. Okay. So you got green. Got the green. Got the lock and that. Okay. Now you're going to go ahead and fish your wires up here. Move our breaker out of the way. Make sure all the wires are out of the place. Now this is kind of where the rubber meets the road, everybody. If you don't know what the hell you're doing, at this point, stop. This is when I have a lot of my homeowners in Arizona that will get this far. They'll leave it hanging out the bottom, and they will have me come in, and they'll have us hook it to the main panel. They'll have us check everything. We don't charge a lot for that, and it saves you, the homeowner, a lot of money. I mean, all my videos will show you how to do all this work yourself. So if you're afraid, if you're not sure, then by all means, don't do it. But I try to make it as easy as I can. I just do so many of them that it just doesn't bother me anymore. Like I said, if you don't know what you're doing, you live in Arizona, you need help. If I can't do it, I have several other companies that I deal with that have taught me how to do this over the last 25 to 30 years. And they don't do a lot of hot tubs, which is funny. They're the professionals, in my opinion, and they're the ones that are calling me, asking me hot tub questions about wiring, because they went and wired something and it just didn't work out well. Either that keeps popping the breaker or the hot tub won't come on. Sometimes it's not an electrical problem, sometimes it's a hot tub issue. So now that we've got this right here, we got the nut here, all this down here is all tight, everything over there, it's kind of hard to tell because of how bright the sun is today, but everything right there is tight. All here looks good. You're going to take your ground wire, you're going to run your ground up the side, and I'll probably put it in right here somewhere. Same thing with the white common wire, comes up here to the side, and then I'll take my hot wires and I'll come like this, and then I'll come back so that I've got enough room. Just in case, this is a very, very, very small panel. It's only a 150 amp panel. So you never know. Homeowners sometimes will change the size of their panels over time. So I'll go ahead and show you how I go about doing that. Right now I'm by myself. I don't have a helper, so I don't have a way to hold on to it. But like I said, I'm going to cut the ground wire and the common wire. That's these two, green for common, or green for ground, white for common. And I'll run those up, and I'll cut them off almost to the top of the button, and then I'll make them look really nice on the inside of the box. So your ground is right here, comes up, and then I fish it all the way to the back behind all the other wires. And then I try to make it look as clean as I can, and I went in right there. Now on the common wire, came around the other way, left it a little bit long, came around, still tried to make it look as clean as I could, and then screwed it in right there. On the two hot wires, I came out, and I kind of did like a little figure eight, came up around here, and I hooked it into right here. So this is done 100% correctly. Got the whole sub panel wired. It's time to wire the hot tub. So we have the hot tub in place. We have all the wire inside the gray seal tight, which will go down here, and then it'll come up through the wires, go into here, and then we will wire it. Okay, so let me show you how I do all that. So what's going on is the hole up here is just not big enough to put that size in there. So I've got this what they call, it's a knockout punch or a knockout. It makes the hole bigger is what it does. So it'll actually cut it out to this size. So this works really cool. You unscrew this all the way down, and it'll pull it into there. Oh, I've already got one that I knocked out once before. There's another one. So anyways, this is how it works. Slide that together so that you make sure that the flat side is against this. Goes in there like that. You're going to make sure it goes up. The cutting edge is right here. The cutting edge up, you're going to slide it down, just like so. And then you make a knockout. And what it does, it'll cut the hole so that I can make it fit. So this is just another part. You know, it's things you got to know and things you got to do in order to make things work sometimes. Okay, once you got it all in there, that's all you need is a crescent wrench. You open up your crescent wrench, put it down, and that's all you're going to do is eventually it'll catch. Sometimes it'll take a couple times for it to catch. There it goes. Now it caught. You go like this, and now it's just a matter of time. And as you do it, it's pulling this piece down, or wrench to the wall, or you put in your, you put in, there goes one. Already heard one break. There goes the other. And then pull it out. There you go. Basically, the gray seal tight goes right here along the floor of the hot tub, makes a curve, comes around, it'll come right here, it'll go through this little hook, it'll come up here, and it'll go right to here. Now, up on top, I'm going to put the breaker down. We have the reduction rings. We have a 1 to 3/4, 1 to 3, or actually, yeah, it's 1 to 3/4 and a 1 to 3/4 plus the nut. So one goes up on top, which sits like that, and the other one goes in the bottom, which will sit right here. Now, in the seal tight, just like anything else, we're going to have two hot wires, the common and the ground. We always hook up the ground first. So let's go ahead and we'll attach the seal tight first. So this is all pretty simple. You're going to take the wires like this. You're going to slide your ring down, just like so, so the ring sits down here. You're going to slide the wires up through here, just like so. Follow me, everybody. That comes in there, just like that. And then we're going to take the nut. Put the nut on there, just like so. Okay. That's pretty much all there is to it. Pretty simple. Get it in there nice and tight, just like that. We're going to go ahead and hook in the ground. Okay. Pull it back just a little bit. We'll just undo the screw a little bit. Pin this. And we just kind of feed the wire in there, just like so. And I'm trying to make it look as clean as I can and keep the wires, you know, in the back so that it stays out of the way of the breaker when I go ahead and put the breaker in. Make sure it's nice and tight. Now, this I'm using a square tip because this requires a square tip right here. Okay, we'll push the crown back, that way it stays way to the back. The common wire and the two hot wires go into the GFCI breaker. In the bottom of the GFCI breaker, you have 3 spots, okay? Normally it has the writing up here. This one just doesn't have it, but I happen to know, here's the common wire. The end of this common wire will go up here to the common bar. So what happens is, right here is where your common wire, so you got your 2 hots, your common and your ground coming from here. You got 2 hots right here, your ground's down there. The white wire comes up here and goes to the isolated bar. Okay, everybody understand? So that goes to the isolated bar. Look at the camera a little bit. When you're putting in the GFCI, this wire right here, the pigtail as I call it, will go up here to the isolated bar. In the bottom is where the other 3, those are the ones that go to the hot tub. You got the 2 hots and you got the ground, and those will go right here. Okay, follow me so far? So what I've done is I've went and I've stripped back the copper, the insulation on all 3 wires. It just makes it easier. And then I'm going to remove the breaker from this slot, put all the wires in, and then I'm going to slide it into place. This is not a hard thing to do. It's hard for me to do right now because I got the camera between me and what I'm doing. Sometimes that gets in the way. Get these tight. Can't tell you how many times I've had homeowners call and say, hey, my husband went and hooked this up, or we hired an electrician and it worked and now it doesn't work. A lot of times the wires are not tight. Not always, but it's just, these are things that I see and I'm like, well, there you go. Tighten, you know, make sure them wires are tight. That bit stuck. Okay, put that down there. Get this one. And as you can see, this is not taking me that long to do. You're seeing this in real time. And I like to do it that way so that way you guys can actually see that there is no secret to doing this. Okay, now that you've got that done, it's all wired. Take your pigtail, pull your pigtail around, wind up your pigtail. It just looks neat like that, okay? Take your pigtail, put it in one of the holes up here. Make sure you get it in there, just like so. Sometimes they're stubborn and they don't want to go in there. There we go. And then tighten it. Make sure you get it tight. Okay? Okay, everything's tight. Now, push your wires down a little bit. You got to work this. Sometimes it takes this just a little bit of time to get it into place. Getting it? Can't tell. There it goes. Done. Okay, and then just push your wires. Just like so. There. Everything's in there. Looks good. What do you think? Now that you have this completely wired, there's no reason to keep it open. You got your screw down here. Pull that out. Lift up your cover and just make sure that that goes into place. Screw your screw in a little bit and then tighten it down. Just like that. Like I said, this ain't rocket science, guys. What do you think? Leave a comment down in the bottom. There, that's done. Okay, make sure the breaker is off. You're done with this part. Now let's go wire the spa. Here's our pack. So you got, it's pretty simple. This one has the common up here, black, black. It's, you know, one's marked in red, but they're both, these two are the two hot ones. This is pretty simple. If you're doing it by the colors, you got white up on top, black in the center, red on the bottom, and right down here is your ground. Your hole where your seal tie comes in is right there. So we'll go ahead and get this wired and we're done. First things first, get all your wires together, and you're going to stick your wires through the hole. That's the first thing. Just like so. And you got to be careful. This is a Balboa pack. Balboa is good, but we don't want to tear or rip anything. So you just got to be careful with the way because it gets stuck. Your wires will get stuck on things. Get that like that. Take your washer, slide your washer down. Missed a wire. Put the washer on there. And then take your nut, slide your nut down. Always, always, always put a washer. I can't tell you how many times that I've done these things, but there's no washer and the wires got pulled out, and that's all it was somebody walking by the hot tub that had a few too many beverages and tripped on it, and that was that. So, as always, I start with the ground. Some people don't, I do. It's just a good habit to get into. Back your screw out just a little bit, open the hole. If not, it's almost impossible to get number 6 wire in that hole, especially at this angle. Sometimes even at this angle, it's tough. Come on. So you gotta get that one in there. Done. And like I've said in past videos, try to leave a little bit more wire. I did not leave a whole lot in here. I left enough, but I always go the length of the pack. It does make it a little bit easier, and like in previous videos I've showed you, you can loop it around. It's a whole lot easier. Now this one right here, I did leave a big enough loop for the ground, and I can just push it down there. Okay, same thing with the common. I left enough room for the common to where I can pull up the common. I can bend the common just like this. I pull back the 2 hot wires, and that common wire will go right into place. Just like so. Okay, I know I'm not supposed to do this, I'm doing it anyway. Don't do that. Mine is set at a specific torque. That's why I tell people not to do that. I apologize for doing that, but I'm tired, guys, and I want to go get a burger. There again, kind of make a backwards S or whatever, bend it up like that, put it in there. Make sure that the copper wires are together or it will not go in the hole. Stick it right there. Just like so. Same thing, last one, bend it with your fingers. See, I'm leaving about 2 inches right here. Bend it with your fingers, leave that last 2, bend the last inch. Number 6 is a real bitch to work with. So you bend it like that, go like that a couple times. It'll bend, and it'll go right into place. And the reason why is because I'm kind of spring loading it is the reason why I do it that way. And it will go right into place. Just like so. That's it. Do not over tighten. Bend your wires down just a little bit. And when you're done, it'll look just like that. You got your common wire over here, got your hot wire, and way down there at the bottom is the green one, ground. That's pretty much all there is to it. Close the door. I've got a screw right there. Put the screw on top. That'll conclude this episode of How I Do What I Do. And with that, we're going to end this episode of How I Do What I Do. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was kind of a different video of how to wire a hot tub. I have done many hot tubs like this in the past. The reason why I say that is I have another YouTube channel if you want to check it out. It's called Spa Man, and that is me. I am the Spa Man. I show you how to fix, repair, rebuild, move, you name it, anything to do with a hot tub, but I wanted to at least do this video to show on this channel how to wire a hot tub. If you want more in-depth videos on how to fix or repair hot tubs, check out my other channel. And with that, I'll see you guys on the next video. Have a great day, everybody.